I just want to show to the world that in the small alley of Chinatown, Bangkok, that this over 100 years old building can turn into the restaurant of my dreams because it's my ancestors' legacy and I want to show it to the world through food. And there's so much memories in the building and I just want to bring that memory back to life again. The first floor is called Sino Bar. And then once you walk up where they used to make the medicine here, we call this room the main dining room. The third floor, we call that the 8 Tigers room. There's a fermentation room on that floor as well. You walk up to the 4th floor, eventually it's gonna become opium bar. Last but not least, you walk up to the 5th floor, it's a rooftop. You can see Chinatown up from high. We came up with this Yawarat map, or Chinatown. It represents the whole theme and the whole intention of our restaurant to create memories with the lights and with the desserts, everything. It's gonna stick to your memory until you go home, go to bed, and dream about it. So we got the chestnut and then turn left, you see this big building, which is Potong. It's the logo of Potong medicine long time ago. And then once you walk further to the small alley, you will find an old shop that's been selling Chinese dessert for so long. So that one, we depict the sesame balls. Thai Chinese corn soup, it makes me feel homey, makes me feel warm, makes me feel comfortable. And that's why I create the corn dish here.
We do consider ourselves as a Thai Chinese restaurant, right? But we're not necessarily cooking Thai Chinese food, but rather go through the repertoire of ingredients used by both cuisines and transform them in something amazing. Their approach to food, I would say, it's a mix of risk taken and naiveness. Not in naiveness in the way that she knows how to cook, but like, how can I cook these ingredients in a completely different way and forget everything that's been done with that ingredient.
I love exploring, whether it's produce, seafood, all the ingredients. The sea crab is really interesting because it pops in your mouth. It's really salty at the same time. It gives that sweetness and that texture. I'm not putting the sea crab just to be there for decoration, but it adds the whole new complexity and a whole new mouthfeel, and also the taste is extraordinary. She loves cooking. She's the greatest chef for me. And she didn't have the chance to go to culinary school back then. my mom feel like her dream become true through me. It's like I'm the one who pursue for her. I learned that any ingredients can combine together if you understand it and, make into your own interpretation. That's why it opens my mind that it's endless to create any dish.
I would say both of us have the same working style. Like, I am also a leadership type, so that's why when we try to talk over something, then I guess that's where the fight comes from, because both of us want to win. Although we fight, but it's all for the same goal. Like, we should just try to get the best out and, serve the best thing for the customer.
Having a child and a family of my own, it really changed my attitude towards food and towards life. To make my daughter proud when she grows up and let her see the legacy that is left after me and for her as well. In my childhood, we eat dinner as a family. How can I make that nostalgia feel into a fine dining table? Even though you come here for 2 people to dine at, when you have that family meal, it reminds you of your grandparents, your parents, having a dinner in a big family. We have to end the meal with something that brings them back to authenticity, to the feeling of homey and fulfillment.
I wake up every morning very early. I exercise. My favorite time is the morning, where the sun shines on the Japanese garden. Very beautiful with the kois. Tranquil, keep me calm. Observing the koi soothes your spirit. My wife and I decide that we don't want to live isolated. It's good to stay with my children and grandchildren. We should keep an eye on each other. As we grow older, we need them to be around to keep us happy and together.
If a client comes to see you do a house, it's very important. But if a friend comes and asks you to do a house, it's even more important. Pressure for you to do well and not disappoint, because you must continue your friendship. We still come over for dinner, and they do go over the house with us. So I think the chemistry enhanced. The landscape takes an important part of this house. There is a front part of the garden, which is like an entree of the building. There's a swimming pool part, which is a recreational, relaxing space next to the gym. The highlight, the gem of what is a magnificent Japanese garden. So the landscape you look outside is very much as though the landscape was here for the last 25 years. You know, it's very natural. The species of plants vary from one another. A landscape that is garden-free of any kind of specific species. It's a very beautiful place to walk here.
He wants to make the house green, attract birds, butterflies, dragonflies. Every morning we hear a lot of birds to wake us up. In fact, sometimes the frogs sing me to sleep when it's raining.
There's an in-between space transition from Block A to Block B, which is a nice space. In between those spaces are some of the spaces where we see very nice furniture, restful places, to some extent visual spaces also.
The first floor, as you come up the stairs, to the right is the kitchen, to the left you come into the sitting room and the dining room. On the right, you come to my daughter's space. One of the things that we told the architects is that we have our own wing, they have their own wings, but we come together when we having dinner, lunch. If they want to have their friends over, be noisy, then it doesn't affect our lifestyle. You can see all the porcelain from the Dutch ship that sunk in the Pacific coming from China. There were two sets of this porcelain. One was kept by the Sultan of Brunei, and we got the other set.
Leonard wanted a room to be an extension of the existing architecture and also the existing outdoor landscaping. So the idea was to create an indoor but outdoor room. We incorporated planting and also allows for sunlight to enter through the room. The shadows was done, I guess, as a response to the harsh climate and it's also to tropical architecture. So we used screens around the house and it played a part in casting intricate shadows that were beautiful.
There's a subtlety of joy of life, basically. The joy of life is important because sun comes in, hits you in the face, it warms you up, or the breeze goes through. That's part and parcel of a nice residence.
Living in this house is a godsend to me. Being a pediatrician is quite a hectic lifestyle. And when I come back here, the greenery, my grandchildren, it makes us more relaxed and happy. So it is a happy house because of closeness of the family and also a very relaxing atmosphere. Home is where your heart is.
We seek to reach people by using the technology, by being an entrepreneur of combining technology with gastronomy. That would click things in young generation's mind so that they could take the flag and carry it in the future. There has been more than 70 civilizations. It became home for them in Anatolia. And it became a great, great, great melting pot in terms of gastronomy and many other cultures too. My dream was about what can I give back to my culinary heritage in Anatolia. And I was dreaming about trying to sustain what I remember from the past, but yet with a very stylish and artistic vision. Hummus, for me, represents the great history of Middle Eastern, which has been the road for spice routes. With this simple hummus dish in Neolocal, as we call it, hummus and Anatolian landscapes, we just wanted to represent the colorful nature and the geography of Anatolia within the beautiful sunny side-up quail egg, which represents the sun. We need to find ways to bring traditions into today's needs so that it can be accepted in the future. The only way we can do it is through our plates and through us trying to make our guests enjoy those plates. I need to be able to touch your soul by giving you a history, giving you a tradition, giving you a color, giving you a shape, giving you an appearance. It's a whole package. So this is why whatever I do is important within the frame of design.
Maksut is very keen on sharing his culture. His own sense of curiosity is addictive because I want to find out what's behind those closed doors in the Grand Bazaar or at the market, even the spice market, the little artisans behind.
I remember from my past, all the mothers in Anatolia used to and still using copper cooking these traditional stews or dishes. It is the closest way to reach the taste of my childhood. We had this super rich culture of eating habits. That gave me a great advantage to be born there. My inspiration within my journey would be my mother and all the mothers that I have known and that I had the chance to eat their food. It really took me into the depths of cooking itself. The only communication between a 60-year-old and a 60-year-old was the kitchen. two artist friends of mine. They invited me to design tastes for their exhibitions. This created a long journey for me in terms of artistic ways of seeing things in gastronomy. In 2007, I went for a shooting for a magazine in a summer place which is called Alaçatı. And the owner offered me a partnership. And I ended up cooking in the kitchen for 3.5 months within the season. I so fell in love being in the kitchen and communicating guests through the food. And this is where I said, okay, my life will be in the kitchen from now on. The first restaurant I opened was a hidden restaurant. We served 30 people every night for 3 nights and also had the best DJ spinning in town.
Maksut has a very personal cooking style. You can tell in his cooking that he is an artist. He plates things in abstract patterns with lots of colors. He's very delicate flavors, but very true to tradition. It's a beautiful way of paying tribute to this country.
Time should not be a barrier for you to explore things. When you are in the kitchen, as an artist, you feed your need to creation. That helps you see every dish that you create within your restaurant as an artistic piece.